Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. I have two very special guests I'm about to bring right up. But first, I just wanted to say hello to you guys. And then we're going to get right into it. So, hello, Kathy. And look, Kathy R. and Kathy 4. Hey, Just Purple. Hey, Leslie, Punksy, Neat Noodle, Hippie Chick, Sexy Wild Thing, Carol freaking Papa, Elvis Claus, Nana, Punksy. Wait, I said hello to you, Punksy. See, I'm already doing that. Hey, House Huddle. Hello, Selena, Skylab, Amy, Vanessa. Thank you guys for being here. Dave G, Harlot, Callie Dean. Thank you. By the way, hey, KPM, Nana, Trulia, A Million Sparkles, Teacup, Tess, anybody that I missed. Mayla's mom, Stevie Grace, Claudia. Thank you guys for being here. Let me see. Okay, so let me bring you guys up. Hey, Jen. Hey, Amber.
Hi, and hello, everybody in chat, and thanks for having me on.
I am so glad
Hey,
that you're
guys.
here.
How are you?
I'm excited to talk to you guys about this. So, another day of mainly Kayla testifying. And before we get into her, like some of what happened today, Jen and I have talked several times about this, which I always love to hear from you, Jen. But Amber, I hadn't got to talk to you ear to ear. We've messaged. But what are your thoughts so far with the trial?
I have really conflicting feelings about Kayla. Like, I do see her as, somewhat of a victim of Adam, but at the same time, I really wonder, she has such a big involvement in this, and and this immunity deal has saved her essentially. And it's frustrating, but I understand the fact that, they need her testimony and everything she's saying, and for this deal to work out, because they don't have Harmony's body and all that, but it sucks.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Angie, thank you. That is so freaking sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just really don't think Kayla loved her at all, or even could stand her. It's coming out, especially in today's testimony. Like, she really, to me, seemed like she only cried for herself and for her own trauma, which I'm sure is valid, but it's still, she didn't really get moved until it got to talking about her abuse from Adam.
Yeah, and how she still loves Adam. Jen, did today's testimony change any of your thoughts? How are you feeling right now?
It didn't change anything that I was thinking. But I do want to say something really quickly. She doesn't have immunity. What she has is a proffer deal, and it's very, very, it's different. They can't use anything that she told,
keep going, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
They can't use any. You can't tell me to keep going.
No, I'm sorry.
I'll stop. You say what you're going to say.
I have her little deal I was going to go over it in one of these lives with you. We had Mayla's mom sent it to me, the details, exactly what she signed and agreed to and everything. So,
and what is it exactly? Because the way that I understood it, it is a proffer. It's not immunity, which means that anything that she told them in that proffer can't be used against her. However, if she is found to have lied while she's testifying in this trial or any other trial, that she that the deal goes away, and she will be prosecuted for the perjury, every single count, and that she can be prosecuted for any role that she had in what happened with Harmony. So that's not immunity. Immunity is something very different. Immunity is what they're talking about giving Anthony, because they need him to come in there and testify as to what he saw. But the problem is, if he testifies to what he saw, he will then be admitting what he is. And we all know what was going on, in that apartment and what he was coming down to the car for. He isn't just some good Samaritan, and I ain't judging. It is what it is. He was doing what he was doing. And there's no way that he's going to haul his cookies up there and testify without that immunity. That's what they were talking about today. And that's different. Immunity is free from prosecution. A proffer is not.
Okay, well, that's good news then, because if she can still be prosecuted for something, I think that there's something in this story that could lend her being prosecuted for something.
Yes,
if she
you're
was,
correct.
right? Well, here's the document. So
Okay.
Sentencing, which you're right, Jen, and Mayla's mom, I read it, but also I need to read it a few times to really grasp it. And she's read it as well several times. She's who sent it to me, and she says you're exactly right. It's memorandum of agreement between the state and Kayla. The obligations of the state are incident to Miss Montgomery's plea of guilty to charge ID's perjury. The state will recommend 1.5 years minimum term suspended. Basically what she got is what they did. But then she, like you said, she agrees to plead guilty, testify at any time they need it. It could be at 5 different trials. She's agreed to do it and tell the truth. And then if she lies, she must comply fully, truthfully, and in a timely manner. And then if she lies, I guess that's when she could be charged. We can read through it in detail later because I don't want to, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I think I got confused because they've mentioned and you were looking to strike an immunity deal. Is that correct? Like all this stuff, they've talked about it with her on the stand. So I just assumed that must be what is taking place. You know what I mean?
That is what she wanted. That is what she wanted, babe. She wanted immunity. She didn't want to be prosecuted for anything.
Gotcha.
And that's not what she got. There are many ways in which Kayla can still lose this proffer deal.
Okay. Well, that gives me hope because I just feel like there's a level of, it's more than just, she was complacent. You know what I mean? She seems like she was an active participant that day in a way.
Yep, I 100% agree. And I'm with you. I have so much frustration towards her, even with the deal that she's gotten. I'm sorry. I think that it's wrong. I think that they were both willing participants. I agree with you. And, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and she's like, I believe that she appears to be jealous of Harmony, in certain ways. And you said you got the vibe that she didn't love her. I think other people are kind of getting those vibes too. And also, so I had talked to somebody who personally knew the couple, and they said that Kayla would get nose to nose with Adam. She wasn't scared of Adam. You know what I mean? So I think that it's interesting that I feel like she deserves a lot more than what she's gotten. So I'm really uncomfortable with it as well. I'm not saying she wasn't scared of him. I'm just saying that, some people that knew them are of the belief that she wasn't, which is also interesting. And I've seen a couple people that knew them say that in different ways online. So I don't know. It's just frustrating to see, you are a willing participant in this. You're setting up front. You openly admit that she's making moaning noises and crying, and Adam saying he thinks he hurt her, and you don't turn around. You don't check on her.
It just doesn't make sense. I put the food in her lap, but I never checked on her, or I was concerned when I heard the moaning. And then at a later point, she acted like she wasn't worried at that moment. It's wait, so which is it?
Yep. I know. What about you guys when they talked about them not cleaning Harmony up after she had an accident, and Kayla not taking her into the bathrooms when she went in because Harmony didn't want to go? It's but you're mad that she smells because that it smells like urine, but you're not cleaning her up. I mean, frustrating.
It's so when they were describing and you would use the baby wipes, or how many pairs of clothing did she have? And I just you just know that this little girl was probably wearing the same outfit every single day. Dirty.
It was also the way she talked about the food. Okay. They went to Burger King because Kayla wanted to go to Burger King. And there were 3 croissants. One of them was actually supposed to be Adam's. One was for Kayla, one was for Adam, and I guess all three of the other kids are supposed to share one croissant. I mean, have y'all ever seen a Burger King croissant? First of all, they're gross. Let me just say that right now. I'm sorry, Burger King is probably not going to come after me for sponsorship, and that's just fine because your Whoppers are delicious, but your croissants are trash. They're not that big. And it was where she wanted to go. They didn't order food for the children. So, I mean, it's all of that. There was abject, point blank, period, neglect. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
The kids were in the way of them and their drugs. I mean,
Correct.
it's so sad. And like I said on my live stream, like this whole case like makes you feel like you need to shower.
A lot.
And then I'm in the shower and I'm thinking about like every gross thing I heard, and I can't help but think about, oh my God, then they brought Harmony in the shower to thaw her.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so, I thought Gannon's trial was bad, but wow. I don't know.
This is worse because it's different to hear the details of a crime coming from a medical examiner. There's a different way that they do it, that they talk about it, and you expect a medical examiner to just deliver the facts, right? Because that's their job. So they're not going to get up there and cry, and they're not going to show emotions and stuff. But when you hear a human being who witnessed what she claims that she witnessed, and the things that she did, and the things that she said, and be able to speak about it like she is talking about how you make a grilled cheese sandwich, it's disgusting. And it hits different. It just does.
And it's just sick to know that she knows that Adam's like watching. He might not be in the courtroom, but he has access to watch everything going on, right?
Yes, he can.
So then the fact that she gets all teary-eyed, like speaking about him, like that just exudes her real emotions. And it's only, she's, tied to him and his abuse and whatever relationship they had together. Like she didn't for 1 minute fall apart talking about Harmony or that day. Like you said, it was like she was talking about it like very nonchalantly, like she was like ordering off a menu.
Yes, she was. Tess says with no shred of emotion. People have brought up excellent points in the chat, and here's one: the baby food. So at one point they talk about Bodero accepting EBT for drugs, and we know they kept Harmony on their EBT. But anyways, and they said this led to the whole family eating baby food. I guess because I'm thinking maybe because of WIC or something like that. Like they had vouchers for some baby food, and they had sold all their EBT. That everyone was eating it, even Harmony. So Mayla's mom, that's what I think they were saying. They were saying that they didn't even have food stamps left because they were trading them for drugs. And I would assume they had WIC or something like that, or they had baby food for a reason, and everyone was eating baby.
That makes sense. Like they were approved for X amount of little cans of baby food or whatever a month and formula.
I didn't know that you could get baby food on WIC. I was on WIC with my older two boys, and I don't remember.
We did.
I know we got formula, and you could get like the baby food cereal.
Now they've added puree.
Oh, well,
you can get puree and fruits and vegetables. You can get actually like
$16
a month of fruits and vegetables, and a couple of things like that.
WIC has come up.
Yeah.
It used to be like beans. You could get like the dried beans. You could get the baby formula, baby cereal, dry cereal, milk,
and
cheese.
It's a great program for people who don't use it, like these people.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. Sexy wild thing, Carol freaking Papa Elvis Claus. Thank you. Your name. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. And I had put this in the chat, but you guys were talking. Claus lost a family member today, so I just wanted to send her lots of love.
Sorry to hear that, Carol freaking Claus.
I'm so sorry, Carol Claus. I'm sorry. My heart goes out to you, babe. Sending good juju's.
Danielle, from what I know, I do believe Kayla's mom has the kids. So let me see. Okay, another thing that stood out to me. You know, when they're talking about how she brought all the things with her to her mom's house, and they're like, or was it to her mom's house, to somewhere, and they're like, you brought extra diapers, you know, clothes, you brought this, that, and she's like, yes, and then they're like, and did you bring extra underpants for Harmony? She's like, I don't remember. Like
Yeah.
her tone, and it just
That's like it comes out in little bits where you just know,
Mhm.
like, she didn't give two craps about that girl because it wasn't her kid, you know, and she was just a meal ticket for them for benefits.
I
exactly.
I want to talk a little bit about the I don't knows. Okay. I was in Disorder in the Court. I was listening along with her. And she, this was in the beginning, before the lunch break, before the kerfuffle. Lord,
Yeah.
we'll get there. But the I don't knows. So Kayla, okay. Yes, the state sat down with her and went over her testimony, but that was a while back. But her own attorney spoke to her about her testimony. And the fact is, attorneys will tell you, rather than commit to a yes or a no, which is an emphatic response, if you aren't sure, the best thing to do is say, I don't remember, because it's a very non-committal answer. And I part of the reason, and I know that Adam's attorney got a rash of shit in the chats. Every chat was just like, even me. Listen, but I didn't do it. All I ever said was bootleg Elaine, because that's who she reminds me of. But about why the going over the same question over and over and over again. And I'll tell you why she did it. Because there were questions that Kayla answered, I don't remember to, the first time around. And then she would visit another topic, and then she would come back to the original topic and ask her this. It's a similar question, but phrase it differently. And Kayla would answer. And she actually got Kayla tripped up on several important details for and why she continued to do it. And it's the only time that I got a little irritated with the state. I got irritated with the state is because Bootleg Elaine asked two questions at the same time, and Kayla answered right. And it wasn't clear to which question she was answering right to. That's why they object and say compound, because you're only supposed to answer one question at a time. But I understood why Bootleg Elaine. I know she has a real name, but she's Bootleg Elaine to me. Why she continued. I understood her line of questioning. I was following what she was trying to do. Unfortunately, I don't think that she was successful, because at the time when she should have gone in, she pulled back. And that was a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining, Melissa and Debbie. But you're right. She was asking, people were like, she's asking questions she's already asked. Well, yeah, she's doing that for a reason, because, Kayla, she's a liar. And you know what I mean? She's trying to get her tripped up on some of
She did
these
get her
questions.
hemmed up a few times. She
That's
got her
why
hemmed up on some important details.
Yeah,
Sorry, Amber.
No, you're fine, because you're saying exactly, like, that goes along with what I'm saying. Like, she's gotten tripped up. The story, even the fact that he's driving and punching her at the same time, like, is anyone else like, wait, what?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Right.
It just sucks, because we don't have the truth still. Like, and this is, of course, what the state has to work with, you know? So this is the story that it's going to be. And like years down the line, people are going to repeat this, and they're going to say, oh yeah, he did this and that. And it's only Kayla's story. And it's like, there's details that involve her that she's obviously leaving out. And it's frustrating knowing, like, you see someone lying and you're like, you did more than what you're claiming you did, you know? Like, it just really bothers me. But yet this is just what we have to work with.
100%. I was just going to say, and look, people in the chat are agreeing with you. Like, a lot of people don't believe her. I don't believe her. None of it makes sense. This person says, I think she's lying, looking out for herself. Maybe some is true.
I think some of it is true, but I don't think that I actually think and I know I'm going to get a rash of shit for this, but I actually think that Adam's defense, the timeline, I actually think that's much closer to the truth than what Kayla is saying. Because when she was on direct, all of this took place. The hitting, the beating started out on the, like, they got up in the morning early because of the clinic. So they went to the methadone clinic, and that's when they were, and of course, that as soon as they were awake, they realized that, Harmony's had an accident. And it starts then, and in between red lights, etc., it's happening. And then they get to the clinic. Kayla goes in first, then Adam, and then Adam, when he's done in the clinic, he comes back and he's still livid, and then it occurs all the way till they get to the Burger King, and you guys all know, I'm not going to go over it and over it and over it, but she changed it today. She changed that it started out very early in the morning, like we're talking 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I think that the defenses, I think that, listen, I'll tell you exactly what they proved today with their line of questioning. They proved that they, in my opinion, what the defense did today was prove they were both involved in hitting her. Frankly, that's what I think that they actually proved. I do not think that they proved what their intent was, which was to say that it was actually Kayla who did it and Adam who cleaned up afterwards. I think they were both in on it. And I think that's why that her story is changing. I watched her very closely today to see her body language. And when Bootleg Elaine would go in on the details or try to really hone in on some of those details, she would start swiveling in her chair and sit back in her chair as if there was not enough distance in the courtroom between the witness box and where she was standing questioning her. She pushed herself back, sat back further in the chair. She physically moved herself to be further away from the defense attorney. And that is indicative of uncomfortable. She doesn't want to answer these questions.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
And when you think about their relationship, he obviously was abusive towards all of them. I'm sure Kayla got the wrath of it. So it almost makes it an argument to say, because she was sort of the brunt of his anger at times, maybe that is another reason why she decided to team up with him against this child in a way. You know what I mean? It was something that they had no problem doing together. When she had an accident, get all the anger out on her. That way, Kayla didn't have to feel any of the wrath. It's just, it's not hard to imagine, like you said, that she possibly was hit in her too, or something like that.
But Kayla's very clear about when he actually started hitting her, which I know what you're talking about. I think you're saying that Adam's wrath would mainly verbal, right? Arguing, because she's very clear that he didn't hit her ever until after he allegedly killed Harmony. And I'm saying allegedly because that's what you have to say, because she hasn't been convicted, or he hasn't been convicted.
Him yelling at any situation, even if it wasn't at her, if Adam's mad, then it's better to side with him in this anger, whatever he's mad at, than it is to be calm down, honey, or what, you know what I mean?
Right. To be better to be the right hand of the devil than in his path.
Yes.
Well, Melissa said something to me today that was so interesting. She said her story, she says that the kids in the back didn't even know what was going on, right? And they were 11 months and 2.5 or around those ages. I mean, I would think that at 2, you would at least be startled or scared witnessing this. But she's like, they would have to know, because if he's reaching over the seat and punching in the back in that back corner, you would think that the child in the middle would be getting at least pushed around a little bit, or some of the blowback from that, right? Because there's all 3 of them in the back seat, and the other 2 have car seats. Harmony didn't have a car seat, even though she was supposed to at her age. Bentley's still in a booster seat
at her weight too. At her
age anyway, yeah, because it's 8. It's 8 years old and 80 pounds. She was nowhere near close to
No, she
either
was
of those.
what, 35.2?
Yep.
Yes, they
Yep.
admitted that she wasn't even wearing a seatbelt. Not only did she not have a car seat, but that during that accident or whatever that they talked about, like they got her to pretty much admit that she wasn't even wearing a seatbelt.
Well, let's think
Yeah.
also break down what Kayla actually said, right? Let's say she's telling the truth. Let's say those kids didn't react. That is not a better situation. What that means is that those children are so used to seeing this that they've learned that if they react, they could pause. They're not going to draw any attention to themselves.
Right.
I don't know about I highly doubt that Declan would have been old enough to do that, but maybe Seamus. Because
I
Declan
think
was
so
just
too.
too little, but still. But it doesn't, like Kayla's trying to make it out like, but the way Kayla's doing it is acting as if Seamus and Declan were not a problem and that the problem was Harmony. It is a dig at Harmony.
It subliminally, it's coming through that way, right?
Yes, she leaks. Everybody, all human beings do, but she's on the stand and the spotlight's on her, and she's really, really leaking who she actually is.
Absolutely. Riddler, thank you so much for being a member for 15 months. You are so sweet, and I appreciate that so much. And then look, Pam says, I believe this baby was gone before they went to the clinic or they were drugged. There are so many people who are, thank you again, Carol Claus. If this many people in the chat and between us are having doubts about these things, it just makes me think that the jury, it only takes one person, to not be.
I think we're having, I think we're having doubts about the validity of Kayla's story, but let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that the jury thinks that Adam didn't participate. Best, what the defense has proved is that they're probably both in on it, which doesn't get their client off,
right?
Which is what they were supposed to be doing. They don't have.
I've seen opinions all over. Honestly,
I could see someone maybe being questionable, like out of 12 people, like, wait, what if Kayla did all this, but
right. But we've only heard from Kayla at this point. We don't know who else is going to get up there. And I think he's playing games, to be honest with you. And I have really been trying to I actually think that they're in some weird way, they're actually playing the same game together. They're a very toxic couple and they play, and I believe that Adam is intentionally not showing up. I don't think that it has anything to do with, I just think they're playing games with each other, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it seems like the way that she got so sad and emotional about talking about him and their relationship, it's almost like she's like hoping to leave the door open for in the future.
Correct. And she will stop short of saying certain things. And she also actually defended Adam on direct. It was in the very beginning when they were talking about how Harmony came to live with them. And she said, it's not like people think where he just all of a sudden got her. He fought for her for 4 years. That's her defending him. I don't give a rat's fat kneecap how you want to spin it. That's exactly what she was doing. And and that's another thing. The one more time. Okay, listen. Now, I'm not Gypsy Rose and I don't go around screaming on social media about the fire. Okay, but there ain't no D that's fire enough that after me seeing what she claims that she saw, and I'm not just talking about the unaliving, I'm talking about all of it, that would ever make me even entertain for 1 second slipping off these chonies.
And they conceived a child after Harmony passed, or no?
Yes, under the same, it's not a vent, it's a register, but I have to say that because my husband does HVAC, and if I were to say vent, he'd be like, it's a register. But a vent.
Oh my God. Yeah, I just realized what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
she was in the ceiling
Yes, she was
tile
in
or
the
whatever.
ceiling.
Well,
Yes.
that's what I mean by
Um,
this case is like you need to like take a scorching hot shower.
Yeah, it's so true. Mrs. O, thank you for joining. And then Nana, thank you for being a member for so long. Oh my gosh, I had something I was thinking about that I wanted to bring up to you guys, and now I've totally lost it. Zoomer Mom, thank you for joining. Dang it.
Was it about their relationship?
It was irrelevant to what y'all were saying. Maybe it'll come back to me. Let me see what my next thing in my little notes were.
Oh, the D is fire. Does that help?
You have to say it right, Amber. The D is
Oh my
No,
god.
Sorry,
I mean,
you guys.
to me, the only
Hey,
thing I have
Grace,
about their
Kenlu, don't you
relationship-
ever change, please. I'm too old to change, you know. I promise I'm not going to change.
the only thing I have about their relationship though is that that's I don't understand it. I don't understand that little note she left that they keep referencing. I don't. It just makes her look worse. You know, I'm not saying that Adam looks innocent at this point. However, remember, she admitted in her proffer, the third one, to smacking Harmony in the back of the head and stuff like that. I just think there's much more to it than we know. And I don't know. I wish that Adam would testify, but I don't think he will. Even him just not showing up, you know, it's getting frustrating. I'm sorry, but you're mad because you have to be strip searched. Well, it's your trial. You know what I mean? You get mad and get over it. You got to at some point be a adult and
it's
move
like,
on.
what do you
I
have
remember.
to hide?
Exactly. Yeah.
I
remember.
I don't think that's what it's about, but go ahead. What do you remember, Allie?
Somebody in
You
the
think
chat
it's-
had asked. Well, let me say this because I don't want to forget again. But somebody in the chat had asked about the methadone clinic and how they were using and going there and don't they drug test and stuff like that. So here's the thing. At methadone clinics, they do drug test and doctors that prescribe methadone or Suboxone, for treatment. They will drug test, but if you fail, they're not going to cut you off. At the methadone clinic, if you don't fail any drug test, you can stop having to come every single day. So you'll get to bring home 2 days worth of medicine, then 3 days worth, and then a week's worth, eventually a month's worth. But if you are failing your drug test, you have to come every single day. They were going daily. I don't feel like they had made it to any point in their treatment where they were like, okay, you're doing really good. You can come every other day or once a month, or once a week. I mean, so yes, they do drug tests, but they'll still get their methadone.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was going to ask Jen if she thought him not coming to court is like a control thing, like you're not going to make me do something I don't want to do.
No, I actually think the game is this. So I think that he intentionally is not coming because she is the one testifying, and it is a dig at her.
Yes.
It is to take. She wants to see him. They have that. It's just a very sick, twisted, toxic relationship, and it's a game. And this is the only game they have left. Let's be honest. Okay. I think Kayla's going to end up losing this proffer. I think that this is all going to be quite problematic, and they're never going to be allowed in contact again. And I think that Kayla was very much hoping to see Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I keep coming back to the word that she used. She used the word betrayal. Before I do this betrayal, that word means something very, very specific. And of all the words she could have used, she could have said, before I screw him over, before I, turn on him. But she used the word betrayal, which makes me think whatever truly happened, because I don't think we've heard the truth of it yet. I think we've heard some truths, but I don't think we've heard the actual truth, all of the truth. Whatever happened that day, I think they talked about it. And I think that Kayla has talked and agreed with the defense attorney that Adam was going to take the fall. She conceded that today. There's a difference. There's no, Allie, Allie's bye. I think that, I think they were in this together.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that Adam said, you know, if it comes right down to it, I will take the blame for all of it. And I think that that is why she is saying betrayal. Because
wasn't there something mentioned also between them about how they agreed, like that she needed to be with the kids or something?
Yes. Okay. And I think that when she talks about betrayal, what she's really saying is that in order for her to do what they agreed to do, which is to have some shot at being there for her children, for their children, she's going to have to testify against Adam, and she's going to have to say that Adam did horrific things. And I think he's mad now, Debbie. I do. I think he's mad now. I think once he and his attorney sat down together and they went over that proffer, and Adam saw all of the things that she had said to him or said about him, said that he did. I think that's when he was like, whoa, no, ma'am. So.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure.
So what about the part with there was some tension, or I'm reading the chat and this, what about the part, and it's right here highlighted on the screen. And this is from an article just like reviewing today's event. So I'm going to read that. It says, there was some tension at the bench Monday afternoon after Kayla testified that she was made aware of Adam Montgomery's concessions and opening statements that he falsified evidence and abused the corpse. She said her attorney told her before she testified. What did you guys think about that? And did she mean her attorney or the prosecutor? Because I wasn't quite sure. Okay.
She said it was her attorney. She's allowed to talk with her attorney, So she cannot discuss, once she takes the stand, okay, she is not to discuss her testimony with anybody. She cannot discuss it with the state. She cannot discuss it with the defense. She cannot discuss it with anybody that she calls from jail. She cannot discuss it with anyone for the entire time until she's no longer testifying. And she's still under that subpoena. I don't think they've released her from that subpoena. So she really can't be talking. So it's not a big deal that that her attorney discussed her testimony with her before she testified. That's okay for him to do.
I thought she said the attorney, so I wasn't sure. And I know that even the prosecutor can talk to her before, at least to an extent.
So it was a little muddled when she actually testified, but then there was the whole kerfuffle, and then they brought her back, and she clarified it on the stand. And I want you guys to know, the jail is monitoring and watching Kayla. They have access to her phone calls. So if she spoke to anybody aside from, once she took the stand though, she then would not be allowed to take, to talk to her attorney. But she made an important admission after this. Once she said, so Bootleg Elaine, is going over this with her. And she says to her, did you change your testimony? And at first she didn't understand the question. And they came back and revisited it again. And she admitted that she changed how she testified based on that information. Based on knowing that Adam's defense was planning to point the finger at her. That is a huge admission.
Right. Oh, that is a huge admission.
It doesn't get Adam off, but just understand
right.
that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that. However, I mean, it
No,
only
I
takes
just
one.
want to make sure.
But this is the thing. Even if he was to be found not guilty of this, he's in prison anyways on other charges. Like, so it, he's not going home. But it is possible, because I've seen opinions all over that think every which way that you could imagine people would think, they do. It's not like majority of people are looking one way or another. It's very spread out and split open. But look at Landry's comment. They say Anthony Bodero and his girlfriend say in the proffer and to the grand jury that they didn't see Harmony on 11/29 to 12/1. It said they stayed in the parking lot, but she didn't pass until 12/7. So little things like that people might pick up on or notice. I mean, I don't know. Let me see. What did you guys think about the other little witnesses we had at the end? Let me go get their pictures. Hold on. We had.
I didn't even make
Courtney
it
Garcia.
that far. Sadly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. No, this morning, like, I could not get woke up. I felt like crap when I woke up. Like, my throat's been sore. I've just felt like crap. So, like, I was, I missed
but
part
I
of
plan on
part of
watching
Kayla.
it.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because this girl here, she's the one who came and jumped their car that night. That they, after when they were in the Audi, but her husband Matthew. Her name's Courtney Garcia. Her husband, Matthew, is a childhood friend of Adam's. She says that Adam told them, they saw them on Thanksgiving. She says, I think that, let me see, was she the one that babysitted Harmony one day? No, the next one. But Adam had told them that he took Harmony back to her mom's because of accidents in the vehicle, and her mom could offer a home that he didn't have. But the interesting part of her testimony was she said that they had offered Adam, Kayla, and the 3 kids a place to stay, and Adam wanted to, but Kayla wouldn't. Kayla said no. So I feel like she's probably jealous, at just more of jealous personality, toxic relationship stuff.
But it shows something, I think, that's far more important than any of that. If you're scared of somebody and you obey somebody, why are you the one putting your foot down about where you'll stay and where you won't? If he said yes, how come she's the one that had the final say? If the power dynamic is that he's running the show, that makes no sense.
That's true.
And I can't, that's the thing, is someone to put up with someone like Adam would have to have that kind of thick skin, like badass character.
I think when it comes right down to it, probably verbally, I think Kayla gave as good as she got. I think that they had a toxic relationship. I think they talked shit to each other, quite frankly.
I would love to know about his upbringing. Like, what was his mother like?
Oh, let me tell. I know I learned a little bit of that today and yesterday, but I was wrong, actually. Kimberly's the one who jumped the car. She was just on the stand because her husband was a childhood friend of Adam. And then further down in my notes, I think Dolly Vision was there. Look, I saw him in that. So I took a screenshot.
Oh my God.
Of that.
Oh, hey, Dolly, what's up?
But then, yeah, Kimberly, she worked at Dunkin' Donuts with both of them. And she's the one who jump started the car. She also babysat Harmony one time. Yeah, and here's her picture. But
I don't think that, okay. Do I think that Kayla was afraid of Adam? I think she was afraid of Adam, but not in the way that she's trying to portray on the stand. I think that she was afraid of Adam in the way that anybody would be afraid of another person who had a really big secret against them.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I think that's, do I think, that's what I think. I think
so too, especially because didn't she say something on the stand today, or at one point, maybe it was Friday, how he was like paranoid that she was going to flip on him. And I'm like, what if it was a little bit of both of them that way? Like,
yes. And the fact is they were doing crack. Crack makes you highly, highly paranoid. Paranoid in ways where you will do what Adam was doing, which was pulling out, electrical, like the switch plate covers to see if there were wires in there and all that stuff. That
crackhead behavior.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Mayla's mom, thank you for bringing me back, because I was going to mention this when you said you'd like to know more about his childhood. So Adam was raised by his grandma. His mom wasn't in his life for a long, long time. And he was raised by his dad's mom. And Uncle Kevin was like, his uncle, but also like it's his mom that raised Adam. So
very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and
that
that's
Kayla
what I was
said. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Because
I was just
the one
say
I was going to
about
mention
the idea of them being paranoid of what the other one had on them. Like she had mentioned, like she almost emphasized today that there was mental abuse. So I wonder if that was part of the mental abuse.
I mean, I just think that they had a very toxic relationship. And I think that,
active addiction is part of
that. There's a lot of things that play. There's a lot of ingredients in this dysfunction soup. Yeah. And, I think it's hard. I don't think it's as black and white as all that. And I shouldn't be saying I think that there's a lot of gray. And I do think that there were times when she was afraid of him in a, I got a secret over you and afraid of losing him type of way. And I think that the fear probably changed over time, and especially after Harmony, and then when he started wailing on her. So, I mean, I just think it's complicated. I don't think she was all the things at all the time, and I don't think he was either.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was obviously somewhat afraid of her too, because like she said today, he was like paranoid that she was going to kill him, which brings another element of what me and Melissa, that was another thing we talked about today. Cause I'm like, so she witnesses him take the life of his daughter, and then he's afraid she's going to kill him.
Yeah, that
like,
didn't make sense to me either. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yes. I can't believe it took us this long to even bring that up. We were all, I think everyone was like, wait, what? I wish they were like, can you elaborate more on that?
Yes,
no
me
too. But that's the thing, is that's another point. When I feel like that should have been elaborated on, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I honestly think at the end of the day, I think what's crystal clear is that Kayla didn't give a rat's fat kneecap about Harmony at all. And I wonder if what actually happened to Kayla, to Harmony, took more than, I don't think it was one day. I actually think that it's very possible that what happened is that there was that it's a situation we've heard about a lot of times, where it's something that occurs over several days, and that sweet girl was languishing and suffering. That's what I think. I don't think that it all just happened on December 7th. There are too many people that don't recall seeing Harmony way before that.
Many people are saying in the chat that no one cared about her. And I just want to say, I agree with that as far as like inside their relationship and stuff. But, Kevin, kept trying to contact DCYF daily. And also Jameson's adopted parents. Like, there were some people on the outside who cared to it. Like, they're the whole reason that Crystal reported her missing. They encouraged her to do it, and so some people on the outside did, but there's not much you can do in a situation like this.
When she mentioned that he was afraid that I was going to kill him, right before that, she said he thought I was cheating on him. And then, like, Mayla's mom comment says that Adam had threatened to unalive himself. Like, so it did seem like Kayla kind of has had Adam by his balls, like in certain situations too, in their relationship, like more so than just knowing what that happened to Harmony. Like, I think, all they're on and off again, like they were addicted to that, like fall out and get back together, which reminds me, when he met that other girl, like Kayla took him back after that.
I don't know what the heck was going on there, because I mean, she was meeting them at the Walmart to trade cell phones in, and seemingly,
So I don't think that they got
it
back
was
together.
bizarre.
I think that Kayla called him and was like, they're questioning me. Come back. I'm not dealing with this alone. He came back with that girl, and Kayla hated her. And so I think that was probably even more more between them.
I didn't know the timeline of like they're falling out, because it'd been more than one time they fell out and got back together. So I thought but that pretty much is how it ended, like before they get arrested, that he was with that other girl.
Yeah. And then she, after they got arrested, she was found overdosed.
But there was a period of time when after she got the 2 black eyes, that Amber's right. There was a little moment where they were trying to get back together.
There might have been, but I don't think they did after he came back with her.
No.
And then
but
also,
they did meet up at the Walmart a few times Kayla met Adam and Kelsey at the Walmart, as if there's only one, at the Walmart to trade in cell phones and stuff. And she met him. She met, and there was an issue too, because they were beefing over Adam seeing the kids. That was another thing that they were beefing over. So
they weren't allowed to go over to his car to hang out.
Right, exactly.
Amber. I want to read this comment on the screen, but I just want to say hello to Mark Milligan. Thank you for being here. Mark, he's retired law enforcement, but he's been on my channel a long time ago to bring awareness to his missing brother, Harry Milligan. And he's still missing. He's been missing for a very, very long time. You guys should go back and watch that stream. But thank you for being here. He says, don't you think that a lot of it was the heroin addiction that kept them needing each other and the fear of losing the connection? I guess hard to explain, but heroin causes such low self-esteem, and they feed off each other.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
I think that it was all of it. They were bonded in everything. They were bonded in their drug use. They were bonded. Something, it was all tied in, all rolled up into one mess.
Yeah. And a chemical romance tied in with twisted, like trauma type bonding.
Yes. Yes.
For me, whenever I was using, and it was like hard street drugs like that, I was in a very toxic relationship that was also physical. And I will tell you this, there are parts of that, depending on whose friend is the dealer, who's got the connection. You will find people that stay in relationships like that because they don't want to be dope sick. And there's just so many different levels of that. So I think that definitely played a part. Hey, Wolfie.
I know.
I don't think it's all black and white. I think it's a lot of, there's a lot of dysfunction, and I mean, a lot of ingredients in this little dysfunction soup that they got going on between them. And I think it's still, my point is really more that it's still happening. I think they're both still on some level passive aggressively playing games with each other. Otherwise they'd be divorced.
Did she file? I thought I had heard
she did file, but it's not. They're still married.
Mm-hmm. Because they want to leave open conjugal visits.
Messed up, Amber. You know that deep?
Do we have a police interview with that girl that passed?
I don't, if there's a video, I haven't seen it. Let me look.
I've looked and I haven't seen it, and I haven't,
that would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Some of his interviews are out there. Have you seen those, Amber?
I've only seen one. For sure. But he said little to nothing, but for some reason it was still super intriguing to watch. He's just so cold that it's chilling to see him just nonchalantly interviewing with cigarettes and not a care in the world of no tears shed at all for the daughter. Or
he wasn't even afraid at all.
Yeah.
But he was mad. But he was mad because I will never forget that part where He flicked the heck out of that cigarette. And I know I'm a smoker, so I know. He flicked that thing so hard that he lost part of the cherry.
And I only didn't ask you, Jen, because I knew you had seen it, by the way. But
yeah, I've seen it.
So here is here's just an article I grabbed really quickly. Let me see what it says. So it says, girlfriend of missing New Hampshire girl's father found dead, Kelsey Small, the girlfriend of Adam Montgomery, who was arrested in January, 2 years after the mysterious disappearance of Harmony, was found dead earlier this month. When was this posted? March of 2022. So Small, who did not face charges in connection with Harmony's case, was found at a hotel on March 13th. Police told the local news her death is not considered suspicious, according to both outlets. An obituary says that she died unexpectedly. People has reached out to Manchester Police Department, but did not immediately hear back. Her death marks the latest update in connection to Harmony, who hasn't been seen since 2019. And that's really all that's in this one. But I will... Let me click on this hyperlink and just see what their local news put out at the time. Girlfriend of Harmony's father found dead. Small was the girlfriend of Adam Montgomery. According to an affidavit, the pair were found living in a car on December 31st of 2021 when he was arrested for in connection with the disappearance of his 7-year-old daughter. Court documents, so she did speak to police. Look here, court documents said Small spoke with detectives last year when she was found with Adam, but her death ends the hope that she would share any information she might have about what happened to Harmony. According to the affidavit, Small told police she was romantically involved with Adam Montgomery for more than a year. She told detectives she was aware of 4 children that he had and 2 women, but she said Adam never mentioned Harmony, and she had no information where the girl might be. During that same roadside interview, Adam told detectives that Harmony was fine. He said he hadn't seen her since her mother picked her up. But Story had told police, she hadn't seen her since Easter. Small was not implicated in any way, but investigators said they hoped she might have information from Adam that she might eventually share. Her cousin released a statement through a spokesperson. She said she was so much more than that, and I hate that one of her last connections here on earth was to him. So I know. So besides that, it just says she was arrested outside a sober home where she was living and charged with the DUI. She was released on personal recognizance bail and was due in court next week. 5 days later, she was found dead in a hotel room.
It's just so, this whole case, even people who are on the outside of it, it's just destruction.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's awful. I thought this title was interesting of Associated Press. It says a stepmother says her husband killed his 5-year-old and hid her body. His lawyers say she's lying. But it is so interesting to go through and look at the different opinions, things that people are noticing and that's standing out.
Do you guys think Kayla knows where the body is?
I think she has an idea. She knew him.
Because I've learned a lot in chat earlier was saying Adam's the type of guy who wouldn't tell Kayla where it was because he'd be afraid that she would rat him out. Thought that was interesting. But I don't know. It's hard. I feel like she knows more. And what if that is something more that she knows? You know what I mean? And I don't send messages to him, she's not saying.
Right. Okay. I'll say this. Let's say let's just go down this path for a minute. Let's say she does know. Okay. The one thing that the prosecution desperately wants is her body. And they need it. If they had Harmony, they wouldn't need Kayla. And because even if she were just, I hate saying this, but just skeletal remains, they can do a lot with skeletal remains, So I feel like she may not know the exact location, but I do think that she has a very good idea of it. And I get that people think, well, Adam wouldn't tell her. All right. But Adam did a lot with Kayla that, you know what I mean? Like she participated in the cutting of her clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why that was done? That was done so that should she ever be found, it wouldn't be immediately obvious that it was Harmony by her clothes.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if, well, let's just look at it like this. He's already admitted he didn't plead guilty to the abuse of a corpse and all of that. So I think that we can pretty much say for sure that he disposed of her, without saying allegedly. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty. However, he's, admitted it in court, whatever. Right. So I would not be surprised if she didn't know, because I just think that if he was that paranoid and there was that much in between them, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't tell her. Now, like you said, she might have an idea or something like that. But as far as knowing for sure, it wouldn't shock me if she didn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like it's either one extreme or the other. Either it wouldn't shock me because she knows, or, he definitely was like paranoid and like, I'm not telling this bee anything, because if she turns on me, that's the one piece of evidence that she could use against me. But then again, she's participated in a lot of shady stuff with him prior, I'm thinking. So if it's like we're kind of assuming they're sending signals to each other, playing games, like what if this is all part of a game where she's like, I won't tell them that I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they obviously discussed things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what need would there be for Adam to take a fall if and they made a pact? I mean, that's basically what she's saying on that stand. So, I mean, if you're going to make a pact with somebody, are you going to make a pact with somebody and not know all of the information?
Yeah. Like, I feel like it's a whole thing where if she's cutting the clothing off and they're in this whole like frantic, like, what do we do with this from this point on? Like, that plan or maybe the disposal site at that moment had already been discussed between two of them. Bring it here. No, that's not a good idea. Bring it there. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. I mean, I don't think that Kayla is telling the truth. What remains to be seen, though, is what is the defense going to put up? Because they have two witnesses. And did we ever figure that out, Allie? Because I know you and I talked about who could these witnesses be and how could they be connected and what would be the point?
We know who they are, but not. Okay,
how
so
they're
it's one.
connected.
Remember, it was what I know, and I remember we talked about this. It was one inmate and then some random woman out that's just a regular citizen on the defense witness list.
That's interesting to me, because if their defense is all Adam did was essentially clean up Kayla's mess, right? And it was actually Kayla who is the one who committed the actual murder, right? Then the only way for Kayla's proffer to be yanked from her is for it to be proven that she's lying in that proffer. And why would they bring those two witnesses in? What possible information could they have to add if there was only Kayla and Adam in that car with Harmony and the kids? And Harmony is obviously not going to testify, and the two boys are too young to testify, even though they witnessed, right? Then what could those two people possibly add to his defense that would raise reasonable doubt, which is what they're supposed to be doing, especially if they're going to, and they're not even just raising reasonable doubt. They're actually they're actually raising an alternate suspect, which would be Kayla. They're saying she did it.
Mm-hmm.
So what maybe would those witnesses
on, like, the timeline being off, maybe?
But they're not. Kayla hasn't mentioned their names. We know who they are, and nowhere in this timeline of events that Kayla's run down have these two people been mentioned.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I'm curious what they're going to be brought in to testify to. So
I'm curious too. I'm going to pull it up in a second and see if it's a male or a female because I can't remember the inmate. But I did pull this up for a couple reasons. So first of all, I know that Kelsey Small is mentioned in the arrest affidavit, and I'll go to that part in a second, but it's basically just what we read in the article just now. But then we have Courtney O'Brien, which I think she's married now to Matt, and then Matt Garcia. You remember today we had Courtney Garcia on the stand. Yeah, so investigators spoke with Courtney, who said her husband Matt had known Adam their entire life. She also said Adam used to work for her. She related how she and Garcia had seen Adam, Kayla, Harmony, and the two boys Thanksgiving night 2019, and that the family was living out of the Sebring at the time. She also recalled a conversation she had with Adam about Harmony being back with her mom, that it happened really fast and Harmony wouldn't stop peeing her pants. Then they speak to Matt, so I think he's probably going to be called next or soon. And Matt explained that he and Adam met when they were 14. He considered Adam to be a friend. Garcia said that the only time he saw Harmony was on Thanksgiving. Garcia told investigators about a phone call he had with Adam on New Year's Eve of 2021, which was after news broke that Harmony was missing. Garcia said he asked Adam about the news regarding Harmony, and Adam said he had talked to police that morning. Adam told Garcia he didn't know why the police were bothering him and that he gave Harmony back to her mother after Garcia had seen them at Thanksgiving. Garcia said, he goes, the kid wouldn't stop pissing and shitting everywhere. She was driving me nuts. We were living in the car, so I had her mom come and get her. That's a quote that he says Adam said. Garcia elaborated, speaking as if he was Adam, that Harmony was having her accidents everywhere all the time, every 5 minutes. We were living in a car. I couldn't take it. I had to give her to her mom. That's another quote. So, that's probably going to be some of our next testimony, so Adam said to him, the kid wouldn't stop pissing and shitting everywhere. She was driving me nuts. We were living in the car. So I let her. I had her mom come and get her. And then everywhere all the time, every 5 minutes, we were living in a car. I couldn't take it. I had to give her to her mom.
Wow. And it's like replace the words I had to give her to her mom with so I killed her.
Right.
Ugh.
Right. And here's another reason why Anthony's testimony is going to be key. So after they break down, okay, they put Harmony in the duffel bag and the other kids are being carried as they walk back to the apartment complex. And then Anthony gives them a ride back to their vehicle. But then they walk back again to the apartment complex, and Anthony didn't question, where's Harmony? She was with them, with them in the car before, according to Kayla's timeline, right? But nobody asked about her. He didn't ask about her when he dropped them off at their car.
Yeah, I bet you they're definitely going to ask him about that. Like, what did you think when they came back and Harmony wasn't with them?
Because I actually think that this is something that took place over several days. And I think that, I don't know, it's awful. The whole thing is just awful.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think it just went down exactly how Kayla said. So I'm open to the idea that, like, I hope it wasn't like days long of suffering like Gannon, but we just don't even know.
Yeah.
So remember, her body was up in the ceiling at the fit shelter. And these are pictures from the arrest affidavit of the fluid and stuff that did come back to Harmony's DNA. Well, remember then they did fingerprint processing. And let's see, some areas contain multiple impressions. They noted and analyzed 10 identifiable impressions, 9 from the metal vent and 1 from the framing. They matched all 9 of the identifiable impressions from the metal vent to Adam Montgomery, 3 to his left middle finger, 2 to his left little finger, 1 to his left ring and middle fingers, 1 to his left index finger, 1 to his right index finger, and then his left palm. And then the one of them was not Adam or Kayla. So we'll probably hearing about that. They did also confirm that serology testing on the sealing section produced several positive samples for human fluids. The state lab attempted DNA analysis on the sealing section, but it was not successful due to what has been explained to me as the presence of potential inhibitors, which prevented further analysis. 2 samples were cut from the area of staining and 1 from the framing, and they were sent to DNA, as was Harmony's DNA obtained from her toothbrush, and Crystal's DNA profile and Adam's profile. When tested, one of the samples from the stain and the sample from the framing had insufficient DNA. The other sample indicated a mixture of at least 2 male individuals with at least 1 male contributor. It was, he said, due to the nature of the mixed profile, it was inconclusive for comparison purposes. But I feel like we hear later that it does come back. They do, maybe they just note that it's human fluids and it doesn't match Harmony, but or maybe they said that it does match Harmony. I don't remember, but I feel like we're not going to have a medical examiner testify, but we will be getting, experts going through some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Because like you're suggesting that maybe the defense could bring up like other people helping Adam, like hide this stuff.
I don't know. Well, no, I just think
no, because he pled guilty to this. He pled guilty to moving Harmony's body. The only thing that's in question right now at this point is whether or not he actually killed her. That's really all the defense is trying to combat. They've already agreed that she was moved.
Just pointing out like some of the evidence we will be seeing, what we've seen so far that's in here versus what we haven't seen. But yeah, one of the matches did come back 4.1 billion times more probable if the sample originated from Harmony and an unknown. It did come back as Harmony's. But the other part I wanted to go to, and this is, I just want to see like if because I remember Kayla saying that she was like, and this is graphic, so I'm sorry, but that her remains were like only soft tissue. But I don't remember exactly how she said it. And I'm just curious because usually like, and this was part of my conversation with Melissa today, but when a body is decomposing, it's the flesh and soft tissues first and the bones are left, forever. They use lime, but lime is said to extend. Like it doesn't help. It doesn't help something decay faster. It will keep it from decaying as fast. Lye helps it decay faster. I don't know if they just didn't know what they were doing, and
I'm sure probably high or whatever when the plan happened or you bought it.
Yeah, and buy lime instead of lye. I mean, but let me see. So I wanted to find that part of it. That's all. But
no problem. Take your time. I'm still racking my brain about
use Control F, Allie.
Them conceiving their child underneath this ceiling.
I'm grossed out by all of it. But they were also all in one room. So
well, just like the car. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And you're worried that she's going to cheat on you, but you're living out of a car. Where is she going to go?
Well, that there was a lot of reports about the smell coming from there too. So much that maintenance came and he took Harmony out of the ceiling for a moment when they came.
Ugh.
Which is probably who the other unidentified handprint or fingerprint belongs to.
Yeah. Yes. That would make sense. I wonder if that guy is going to testify or anyone at that shelter.
Allie, use Control F, babe?
But then again, like you said, he's already pled guilty to moving her. So then will that stuff even do they even want to know?
Technically he's conceded guilt. He hasn't pled guilty.
Okay.
I found it. It was like kind of spread out, Jen, and I didn't know exactly which word to even put in Control F, so I didn't. But okay, so let me just start here for a second.
I remember her saying she was just like skin.
Ugh.
Yeah. And yeah. But hold on, let me see. So
Yeah, it is weird that like you would think, okay, that would go first and then skeletal would remain, but maybe the freezer and stuff.
It's because well, yeah, because initially he kept her in a snow embankment or snow, where where snow had piled up. So I mean, she was essentially being frozen, so that's what, I mean, what do you think a morgue does? They just freeze the body. But it's frozen in a different way. They keep it at a consistent temperature so that it's preserved. It's more of a refrigeration than a freezing, if that makes sense. Like, think about your food, right? If you put hamburger meat in the refrigerator, it will go bad a lot quicker than if you want it to last longer, right? You put it in the freezer. So it does different things. But because they have gotten bodies that have
It's just
been
so crazy to
literally
think
frozen.
about that this cooler was going from like the hallway to them at work, put in the freezer. Like,
How
the
about the fact
level of
they
like,
put them in the refrigerator where they ate their, like they just put her in their
and
own
look,
refrigerator. It's disrespectful on every freaking level what they did to her little body. Bless her
yeah, and the
heart.
fact that like that's how paranoid he was when you think about it, like that he had to be within like 10 feet of that body. He couldn't even work an 8-hour shift without knowing that it was like in that cooler, like while he worked.
How did nobody
Right?
see that bag and be like, I'm telling
What's
y'all
this?
right and now, if that had been me, I would have been like, now, wait a minute. Now, I see the lettuce. I see the tomatoes.
Yeah,
I see the food. Why do we have a
girl.
entire diaper
Yeah.
bag looking thing in here?
And the thing is,
Yeah.
I worked in food industry my whole life, like up until I had my child. And I'm telling you, I don't understand how like the kitchen manager, like somebody wasn't like, what is this? What is this foreign bag doing in our cooler? Like it would have been gone and found the first day of like any restaurant I ever worked at. I'm just
Okay, so
baffled that nobody thought to go be like, what is this doing in here? Like, what is this?
that's exactly my thoughts too,
Crazy.
especially when it's out in the hallway. Like, you're telling me that I'm sorry, but if a family member came to stay with me and brought a cooler for any reason and leaves it anywhere, I'm probably going to wonder what's in the cooler and probably even just open it to look.
Right. I'm just like my head explodes just thinking about like all the people that probably walked by her or you know even living in that shelter. Like, yes, they were smelling something, but I just can't even believe like he really thought he was going to get away with this for like how long, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So here's actually the part about the shelter, and I wanted to read this to you guys, and then the part to double check the part about the gross part. That's even awful. I feel bad even saying some of this stuff. And let me just take a second and tell you guys, anybody in the chat, I'm sure that this can be triggering to many people, whether it's someone who's lost a child, someone who's had bad things happen to them. I've talked to a couple people who have told me that this has brought up bad parts of their life, and I am so sorry for you guys. And just remember to take little breaks and take care of your mental health. After you watch something like this, go and watch something that's just silly or not so serious, because it is tough stuff to get through. And then okay, so about the fit shelter, it says on 6/23/2022, Kayla participated in her second proffer interview. We've only seen the third one. But during this second one, she described a time when a maintenance worker came to check the vent in their unit at the fit shelter after a complaint from another resident who Kayla identified as Paula from apartment 5. Kayla said that once people at fit started saying they could smell something, Adam took the Under Armour bag containing Harmony's body, which was inside of a trash bag from the ceiling, put it all inside another trash bag, and then replaced it in the ceiling. Kayla said that once maintenance was called to check the vent, Adam put the trash bag / Under Armour bag / Harmony's body into the closet. Kayla stated that when maintenance checked the vent, they said it must have been a dead animal or something because they didn't see anything up there. Paula was identified, and this officer spoke with Paula on the phone, and she said that Adam, Kayla, and their 2 kids moved into the shelter about 2 to 3 weeks after she moved in. She recalled Adam one time bringing up his daughter, and when asked where she was, he said she was with his mother, Harmony's grandmother. I asked her about a complaint that the Montgomery's apartment smelled, and she said it was her friend Mandy who made the complaint. She stated Mandy dropped off some clothes for the newborn and noted the apartment smelled. Maldonado, Paula, stated that Mandy was now deceased. I believe Mandy to be Amanda Crosby, who Kayla identified as being a female who lived at the shelter, who is now deceased. So she won't be testifying, but how did they live? I'm sorry, Kayla and Adam, either one of them, how did they go on and do their day-to-day lives while this child is up there decomposing above them, and it's people are smelling it? Like, I don't know. How do they do
And
that?
getting pregnant and thinking, okay, I'll bring more kids into this situation. What?
I know.
That's
how do
why,
you
like,
even be somebody?
I just feel like that all of this, the fact that we just said, like, how are you doing that? It leads me to think that, like, Kayla is so twisted too, that, you know, her level of involvement, I just think is so much more than we're being told. That's why it was nothing for her to, like, carry on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's more than just like the drugs. Like, I think that she is a sick individual, even outside of the addiction.
Me too. But think of like your house. Like, do you use candles or anything like that, Amber? Like I don't know. For me, I want my house to be clean for my kids, but also smell good and be relaxing. I just don't know how you get intimate with not only a man you watch do this, but you're literally every day having reminders of what he's done and what's, the situation you're in.
I know. And it's like the drugs, I'm sure, like made it more bearable, but it's like at the same time, come on. Because even when she was pregnant again with their last child together, I mean, I know people use throughout their pregnancy, so I'd be curious if like she did or what was going on there. You know what I mean? Like, where was her boundaries when it comes to even that with like a fetus inside of her? That would also tell me like,
that's so true.
I don't know. I know it's obviously it happens all the time and it's sad, but I just wonder, like, after seeing what he did to Harmony, like that pregnancy must have been, you would think, different in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree. So let's see. Then to that oh gosh, with the shower situation and her getting into that tiny little bag. They say in here, this bag was much smaller than the Under Armour duffel bag. It would not likely fit Harmony's body unless it was dismembered or grossly distorted. Kayla described an odor coming from the bathroom and saw steam coming from the bathroom when Adam would open the door. She recalled the scent of cleaning supplies in the bathroom when Adam had finished up. Then Adam put the maternity bag in their freezer. But where does she say it? She identified the bag as I saw it when I was looking for it. Hold on, it's just right under here. Oh my gosh. It's just awful. Here it is. Repackaged in the maternity bag. There's the bathroom. But I don't believe that is their stuff in there. I believe that that's like the next person that lived their stuff. But it's just sick to know also that they had to call, here it is, but that they had to call maintenance for a clogged drain right after this supposedly took place.
Oh my God. So are we to believe that if this place has like a septic tank, then that's where, weren't they looking through drains, remember, throughout this investigation? It was like breaking news.
Yes, they were like downtown in the sewer, because I guess it's like city sewer. I'm not sure, because they were like in the like sewer. I guess.
Now I remember. So there is no septic tank. They were looking, I remember now, they were digging up, but they didn't find anything. But at that point, it's gone.
I know. I wish there was a septic tank. I hadn't even thought about that, because then it would have saved any evidence, right? They must have been looking for evidence.
So.
Yeah. To like verify Kayla's story.
Yeah.
It says, Kayla said Harmony wasn't bones. She had skin, teeth, and hair, and Kayla could still tell it was her.
Oh my God.
Adam put about, I know, half the bag of lime or more in the bag, which I don't know.
Yeah, I've gotten like the chills more than once throughout this live stream. And like, I don't know, this one is just really hard. Like Gannon's was hard too. That was still has like haunting effects for me. Like hearing,
I know.
about his state of decomp and stuff too. And it's like, these kids are just so, beautiful and like obviously full of life to it. So then when we have to see pictures or all that, like it's a process in the justice, but it's very painful. But it helps that we all like break it down together, I think, like
Yeah, I
as a
agree.
community. And
I wonder what they did to unclog the drain, and if they used like Drano or whatever, if that would have
is that guy
an
gonna
effect.
testify?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it says here, so I wonder if this is what they did. So Detective Ray Hill received maintenance records from Dennis Cloutier, who was the maintenance person back when Adam and Kayla lived there. He's also the current maintenance worker. It should be noted that a service request was executed on February 27th. The request reads, snake tub and fix lever. This service request was 5 days after Adam's employment ended. So Adam quit working at Portland Pie on February 22nd of 2020 because they shut down in like March of, and I remember seeing that like before the trial even started that they, it was no longer a restaurant, anymore. But yeah, I don't think they would have gotten much business after if they were, but just knowing what took place there, I'm sorry, but I don't know. Even the people that live in the house or in this fit that have stayed in this room at this fit shelter with this shower, I don't think that I could live there. I mean, it's just horrific what is taking place there.
What is, I hate to bring it up, but what's this whole NutriBullet thing going on?
Okay, so Kayla said on the stand that Adam had mentioned to her once that they could use a NutriBullet in the process of making Harmony easier to dispose of. But I don't believe they did use it. I think it was just something that he mentioned at a point in time. And I think it's important to clarify that because I've seen other places report that it was used in the
God. See, I wouldn't be surprised. And then they're trying to downplay the horror by saying like, no, it was just mentioned.
Right. But if you mention.
Right. You never know. That's the thing. It's like,
I couldn't. Would it go ahead, Jen?
If he mentioned it, means they were discussing it, right? Means they were discussing plans about how to dispose of her body. So what makes anybody think that they clearly discussed plans for disposing her body? What ultimately ended up happening to her, I do think Kayla probably has a very good idea. The exact location, maybe not, but they talked about disposing of her body, period. Whether it was with the NutriBar, oh Jesus, Jen, with the bullet or NutriBullet or whatever it was. I mean, they talked about it.
Yeah, I know it's.
Well, so okay. If just like the Hansel, like I know that Kayla even talks about one today that her mom had, like that was new in the box that her mom had or something. But if they had proof that one of these items were used, would they have, like, are they just saying they think these items are used? Because I haven't heard definitively any of it was they have proof that it was used.
No, I mean, I don't think that they've like presented, oh, here's a credit card statement. Like I doubt there's like a paper trail of these things.
There's a Home Depot.
Yes,
there's Home Depot video footage. And
let me see what's
with what
right. They did get some stars or admitted like, yes, but like, I'm just saying the NutriBullet, like, I don't think that they've like shown anything.
No. But I mean, this is what would be problematic. So I don't think that they like anything that Adam used, which Kayla's story of the music in another apartment being so loud that it precluded her from hearing what exactly was going on in that bathroom is poppycock. It's not how noise works. Now, the neighbor being noisy, having their music up loud or whatever, would prevent the neighbors from hearing what was going on inside of Adam and Kayla's apartment, but not Kayla and Adam, or not Kayla from hearing what Adam was doing in that bathroom. What they don't have, or at least I don't think they have, is the actual tools that might have been used. And they also, again, they don't have her body. So even if they were to find the tools, if the tools were cleaned completely and there was nothing left on them, right? It would be very difficult to connect that to Harmony, because usually what they'll do is they'll look at, they did this with Chandler Halderson. They did this with Taylor Shabiznes. They will see, they will look to match tool marks during the autopsy, but they don't have that. So.
Right. Oh.
Right. So gotcha.
Okay.
The drain being clogged, like I really am thinking the worst. And like the fact that she said that her body was just skin or whatever, like no, there had to have been like bone.
I know. It makes you think the worst when you hear that. It is just awful. The money for the tools in Lyme, Danielle. So I know that, I don't know if it has been mentioned on the stand or in like her proffer, but I remember that they talked about this particular, they were talking about an ATM that was used, and they had gotten their taxes around the time of this Home Depot trip or something like that. So I believe that's where, and I think that's in the proffer, but at this point.
Today, Kayla stated something that somebody was mentioned that he used to do work for. So it seemed like he would like do work for somebody. I forgot who it was, but maybe someone else remembers her saying like that Adam would do work for him sometimes. So I think that they had like ways to scrounge for drugs.
Oh, I think she was talking about.
Go ahead, Bandy.
No, go ahead, babe.
I was just saying they had little jobs along the way too, but like the Dunkin' and stuff, but that's all.
I think she was talking about Anthony Bordero, and because the defense was trying to ascertain how were they getting these drugs. Well, I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of money. How was all of this happening? And yeah, I think that's what she was talking about. But I mean, Kayla said a lot of stuff, and to be honest with you, some of the stuff is just so awful, and it's hard. It's hard to hear it.
It is. So apparently the Lyme, he actually made 2 shopping trips. One, I think, just for Lyme, and then the second one was the Lyme, the metal cutting diamond blade, a power grinder, and an lithium ion battery and charger for the tool. So I don't know what took place in that shower, and Kayla, like you said, saying she couldn't hear. Okay, but she did claim she heard, that's BS. But remember, she does say at one point that she heard a loud bang, which I don't know, but I feel like if he was using a power grinder or something in there, you would hear that, right?
I think that she's lying. I think she's saying she didn't hear because I don't think she wants to be cold. I don't think she wants, there's parts of that she just doesn't want to admit to.
Mm-hmm. Like she already knows how bad she looks. She's not going to say the full truth of like her part in all this.
Right. Like she couldn't take being in there. She didn't want to know what was going on. And then she further goes on to say that she cut the clothes off of Harmony's body. I mean, it just makes it.
I feel like it's so bad that it's like a situation where you can't say out loud what it is, because then you have to like process it. Like,
yeah. I've thought about that solo sock. I've thought about it.
Solo Sock says, oh my God, what if this is their plan all along? Get him off the murder, get her off the murder. I don't know. Cray Cray says she helped in every part, Lil Red. I think she helped him every step. Yes, Melissa, one of those blender things.
Yeah, I really think that she was there every step, like helping him come up with ideas for like where to put her and stuff.
Right. I think, for lack of a better word, that these two were cahooters, period. I think they were complicit all the way along. I think that, I think that how Harmony came to be with them and why, Kayla even accepted Harmony being there was because Adam told her we can claim on our taxes, we'll get more in benefits, blah, 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 yada, 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 whatever. And, but she never cared about that child. I don't know how you don't look when you hear those noises, just how you just don't look. How were you sure it was coming from Harmony and not,
it's just not making sense. And then like, so you're in the drive-through getting Burger King and you don't ask back to the kids what they want or like.
Right. Or you've seen that Adam, when he's driving, he can, the only way he could reach Harmony is for Harmony to be behind the passenger seat, right? So why don't you just move Harmony so he can no longer reach her to hit her?
She probably like grabbed her so he could reach her and held her there.
I don't know how he was doing all that swinging around and didn't hit any of the other kids. That's what doesn't make sense to me.
I don't either. I agree. That is such a good point. That is actually, I'm outside and it is the metal roof, like that's raining. So
that's fine. I don't mind.
I like it. We're getting rain here too.
Yeah, that's what it is. But Melissa's like, is that a dryer? It's not a dryer, but it does kind of sound like one, but anyways, okay, you guys, before we go, I wanted to talk to you about, like we had talked about the defense witness list. Now, I think we have a lot more witnesses to go through before we get here. And, I look forward to seeing who all the state calls, but the two names on the defenses list, let me see here. One of the people, it's a man, the inmate, Michael Harju, an inmate at the Hillsborough County House of Corrections. The other is Michelle Rafferty. Oh, so that is the foster mom, and she's already been called.
Huh.
Right? Remember, Jen? You remembered her
her name is,
Maybe she'll come back or that's it.
I think that she will. If they decide to call her, she'll have to come back because it'll be different. They could only question her inside the scope of what the prosecution asked her.
Right.
So now they'll ask her whatever they want.
Mm-hmm. But I can't see how what she could possibly testify to that would be in any way, shape, or form helpful to Adam, how it would at all in any way, shape, or form prove that Kayla is the one who killed Harmony. So I don't understand that. I don't understand the point.
Who, Michelle, you mean? Or
yes. Michelle.
I don't know either, because unless there's like an interaction or something that she witnessed or something, I don't know. It's interesting. And then the other person, it's not a female inmate, so this is not someone that Kayla's been talking to in jail. I mean, I guess I wonder if their county jail is male and female, because I guess in the county.
What if it was toilet talking, Ellie?
Yeah, that's true.
What if this guy is Kayla's toilet talking buddy?
Kimberly, she says that it actually took place in the car at red lights and stuff along the way. Like it's hard to tell because today the timeline kind of shifted, but it started in the car when they were not driving, but it did continue throughout driving, like at red lights and stuff. I'm off to channels that don't have rooftops. I'm sorry.
I know that a lot of people have been asking about like the Burger King. Is there not footage? What about traffic stuff? Y'all have to remember that it took a while for her to even be reported missing. And so likely by the time they were even looking for her and found all of this stuff out where they were and all those things, the footage might have been gone. So that's probably, again, which is what makes Kayla, and I know that the state, and I feel like I've seen places where the state has made Kayla a victim, and I don't think that that's true at all. I do think that they have they're just painting her as just a victim, right? I don't think that that's true at all. I think there's been many questions that the state has asked Kayla, where you can tell, at least to me, it seems as if they are recognized that they essentially had to make a deal with the devil in order to get the bigger devil, the other devil. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't think,
because they don't want the jury to be like annoyed with that. Like the state doesn't want the jury they want to please the jury basically. And if they're feeling like we are like Kayla had more to do with this, or Kayla's lying, like how can you paint her as a victim? You know what I mean? So I feel like the state is like trying to walk like a fine line of like making sure that like, that they're not going to just bullshit the jury and be like, she's a victim, like poor her. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. And I think
been like super, I agree totally.
Yeah. They've asked some tough questions of Kayla. And the truth of the matter is that, it's a difficult scenario when the person who is a witness to this crime, right, is also a liar. I mean, she's admitted that she's a liar. She is charged. That's all that perjury is. Perjury is tantamount to calling somebody a lying liar face who tells lies. And she pled guilty to it. So, I mean,
Right.
I just don't think that I think the jury has a lot of disdain for Kayla. I think they probably feel like Kayla isn't telling the entire truth, but I don't think that the defense did enough to put reasonable doubt even in one juror's mind that she's the one that committed the actual murder.
Yeah.
I don't think that they did enough, Allie. I don't think we have to worry about that, babe. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, there was never like a moment where it was like she raised her voice or anyone raised their voice to her, like, but you were actually the one who, you know what I mean?
Also, I want to just make something clear so it doesn't get confused. Earlier when we were talking about him saying that he was guilty of the falsifying evidence and abuse of a corpse, he didn't plead guilty to that, but he conceded guilt. So just to make that, it's just a slight, just so nobody's confused, because I had gotten a message and somebody was like, hey, will you clarify that just so that nobody gets confused. So yeah.
And I agree with Ash over here. Adam would have to testify in order to even attempt to blame Kayla for the actual murder. I just don't, I do not, normally I extra don't advocate for Adam to take the stand. I think he would make a terrible witness, both on cross and direct, which direct is supposed to be, it's easier because, whatever, but I don't see another way around it.
Do you think he will take the stand?
I don't think so, but I mean, I don't know. Look, I've been wrong that he would show. I thought for sure he would be in court with Kayla, but then now that I've heard her testimony and sort of seen a little bit of the dynamic between them, now it actually, in such a weird effing way, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, it makes sense to me that he hasn't shown up, which is
I
wrong.
wonder if he shows up now that she's done.
He see that if they're doing what I think that they're doing, and I think it's both of them. I do think that I would find it very interesting, and I do think he actually might show up if she's
I'm
not
wondering if he will
testifying.
take the stand. Just because of that one time he was so mouthy in court, remember?
Yeah, like I just don't see how he's. I mean, he doesn't. Okay, Adam's team or whatever, the defense, they don't actually have to prove anything. It's all on the state. The burden is completely on the state. Adam's defense could literally not ask any questions if they wanted to. But then they've made their opening statement, they laid their case out. And I just don't, how are you going to make an opening statement where you're saying that Kayla's the one that committed the murder? And you put I mean, you can't just say that. That's not how that, you know what I mean? To a jury,
Yeah.
a jury's going to want to be like, they want to hear it. You know what I mean?
It might be a last Hail Mary type thing, put him up on the stand.
He's just
Or
such
will
a
it
loose
be him
cannon.
who's like insistent on it?
That's
Like,
another. I will say this. I'll say this. Alec Murdoch testified at his own trial against the advice of his attorneys. It can and does happen.
Yeah, I'm curious if Adam is that type that'd be like, she said what? Or, he's seen what she said and he's like, I'm going to set it straight. Or it would add like confusion possibly in the juror's mind. But what if he can't last without a cigarette? Or what if he's like agitated, like he's very short tempered.
Very. So this is why it would be a terrible idea, although
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it. I'm not going to lie.
I know.
I mean,
I hope
want to
he's not
see him.
arrogant.
Yes, I want to see him testify as much as I want to see Sarah Boone testify. And I know, and I have a very strong suspicion that Sarah Boone, regardless of what attorney she's on, whether it is her 8th, 9th, or 11 billionth, that woman wants to testify and she will haul her cookies up there to the stand. No F's given. She's not going to care what her attorney says.
And I agree with Chat. It definitely backfired for Alex.
Oh, yes.
Why did he do that?
Because Alec has tested. If you think about what Alec's job was before, what he did, his job was to convince people of a story, right? And in his mind, he really thought that he could get up there on that stand and convince the jury that he's the one telling the truth.
And that's what would make it plausible that Adam will be stupid enough to do the same. Just so both of them very arrogant, like self-assured people.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that he would. I kind of think that he might not, but then again, I don't know. I've been surprised many times with these kind of situations, but just based on him like glaring at each juror, looking them in the eyes, looking them up and down, I don't know. I think that it's interesting though, like that, Jenn, you say now it makes sense, or, is this strategy? Is it all part of the strategy? I don't know.
I wonder about it. Like I thought this morning, well, is it possible that he didn't show up today for Kayla again because of this? I can't believe she's saying this about me and blaming me and then making all these heinous allegations after the fact of things that I did, blah, blah, blah. And the betrayal of it all. Like he can't, you know what I'm saying? But who knows?
Occasion girl. KPM says, I thought Letitia would testify. He did call them insulting claims against him. Let me pull that video and we'll end with that because I have it. Hold on. I'm going to pull a clip of him talking about this upcoming trial at his weapons trial.
Yeah. Like I could see him like deciding last minute, like, you know what, I'm going up there because he's like mad or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But who
I could see
knows?
that too.
He's a career criminal as well, and during his interrogation, he obviously was like very tight-lipped, like knows that they're playing games and all this stuff, you know. So he might be like arrogant, but maybe wise to know like I definitely shouldn't get up there.
Oh no, Bianca, we're still doing or is that say Bianca or Blanca? I'm sorry, Blanca. We're still doing the calls. We were supposed to do them we're just doing them on the weekends instead of because it's a lot to do the trials and all that. So yeah, we're still doing.
And it's my fault we didn't do some last night. We're going to try to take it one night this week and do both the trial recap and the calls, and then next weekend get back to it. But it is my fault. Honestly, I've just had a lot going on here at home, many important things happening yesterday, and then I've been a little sick. So, and also after I told Jenn, then we had issues with the last calls uploading. It was the Super Bowl. There were so many reasons. We were just like, okay, we'll get back to it. But yeah, we still have some things we haven't even gotten yet. So, okay. You guys ready to hear this? Okay.
To consider the fact that he's awaiting a murder trial in the death of his daughter.
Probably won't believe me when I tell you that I didn't wake up one morning and choose to become an addict. I don't want to be an addict. And I'll spend my time in prison utilizing it to the best of my ability to change things about myself. I could have had a meaningful life, and I blew that opportunity through drugs. But I loved my daughter unconditionally, and I did not kill her.
And the judge assured Montgomery that his daughter's murder played no role in this decision, this case, but his history.
Thank you, Cajun girl. So
I just feel like I could see him talking to a jury that way as like a last hope. But who knows? I can't say 100% either way.
Isn't the youngest child between he and Kayla a daughter? Or did they have all boys?
I think it is a daughter, but honestly, I don't know, Jenn, 100%. I truly don't know.
No, there is a daughter mixed in there somewhere. I just don't know the order.
Yes.
That's what I thought because
it's two boys,
okay.
And then, yeah.
That's what I thought because it's the way he said. See, I feel like when I speak about my kids to people that are not on the internet, I'm never going to tell you guys my kids' names on the internet. It's just not going to happen. But I'm very careful about that. But when I speak about my children to like Allie or my friends, I say their names. I find it interesting that he didn't use Harmony's name and that he said he loves his daughter unconditionally. And I feel like he might have been able to say that emphatically and to come across like he did because he's not actually talking about Harmony, but maybe the daughter that he has with Kayla, because he's also to people that he hates, that he hated Harmony, that she reminded him of her mother.
And he wasn't even there through like when she was born, he was serving time for something else. So like he missed out on so much of that bond. If there is a way for him to love a daughter unconditionally, yeah, I agree. He wasn't talking about Harmony there, obviously. But it's interesting to know like maybe he had like maybe a closer bond with that other child because he was there from start. I don't know. It's just complex.
For me,
like, the fact that.
Sorry, Amber. I thought you were.
No, it's just I was just thinking it was complex, like how later in life he kind of took over with Harmony.
It is. For me, I don't look that closely into it. I think that, it's possible. I just don't necessarily think that he has I don't think that he would like. I think he was talking about Harmony just because it makes sense that he was talking about Harmony and he was trying to get a message across about that in an emotional way. And part of that is probably manipulation. You know what I mean? But that's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
It could
he's just
be.
I think he intended for it to come across as if he was speaking about Harmony. But I'm saying I don't think that's who he was thinking about when he said what he said. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't know. It's possible. I don't know.
He's
You
just a
guys.
liar, so it's hard to know like where anything meaningful or what he might have meant at that time like
Mm-hmm.
is
Usually when you are meaning, yeah, when you're talking about, it's interesting that Kayla very rarely actually says Harmony's name of her own volition. Usually she will say Harmony's name because she's being asked to clarify who she is. And so not using her name is a way of distancing yourself. So it's interesting to me that he is trying to come across as a dad who loves his daughter unconditionally, but yet cannot say her name. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's just like
That's yeah.
all he cares about is like looking favorable in this moment to who the judge or whoever he's talking. I don't know if there's a jury that he was talking to here, but either way, it's just like BS, you know, it's just to
Mhm.
save face or whatever game he's trying to play. Like, oh, let me look like I'm, you know, this or that because I have to go to trial in the future. It's just fake.
Mhm.
Claus, she does somewhat sound like Barbara Walters. Claus has been saying that, and I listened today with that in mind, and I definitely see where you're coming from. And see, your opinions are all over. Like Mayla's mom says, I don't see any overt signs of lying in that video. Some people think that he was being genuine there, you know, and it's all over the place. So I don't know. It's hard to say. It's very interesting. I think one of the most interesting parts about this is, for me, for one, it's not interesting. Harmony getting justice, that is just something that I'm happy about, for finally there to be even the smallest amount of just, because she's definitely not getting what she deserves, right? Because I think that Kayla should also be on charge or on trial for some of these things. But I also find it just really fascinating, like the psychology of people watching and what people think, like, and what people in the chats are saying. I was looking on Twitter today, and I actually did grab like some screenshots from Twitter, just if we had time to go through like people's thoughts, which I'll do that at another time or something, just because it's getting late and we've been on here for a bit. But I love to kind of like see what everybody else is thinking. And it's so, with this one, I think it's more split than other times that I've seen. You know,
Yeah.
there's sometimes, like with Letitia, I didn't really see anybody's like favorable towards Letitia.
Yeah.
Right. But this
And
time,
like that whole clip where he says like I didn't kill my daughter, like the part that I think that he's lying about is loving her unconditionally. The part that, yeah, I do agree, he sounded very like firm in his words, like definitely did not kill my daughter. And then that's where it's like, okay, well, what if he is being somewhat, that's the truth. Like it just makes me realize that it could be Kayla has way more part in this than she's leading on to, you know, like. And then him deciding to concede to those charges, it's like, so then is he basically backing up that statement that he had in court there, where he's saying, yeah, I did this, but I didn't do that.
yeah, that's a good point, though. Is it possible that he was very firm on part of it and not the other? I don't know. It's so interesting to hear from you guys, your thoughts, and then also everybody in the chat, and even, you know, folks on Twitter and in the chats and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there is some good coming out of it, that there is some justice for Harmony. Some.
I do think that ultimately he probably was the one that killed her.
I lean towards that too. However, I wonder if it was just him, or if Kayla was more of a part of it, or are there other times? I at least I'm at the opinion, in my position is that I believe that Kayla was abusing Harmony too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like at the very least of where I'm at. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Kayla was far more complicit, but I think also we have to take into consideration that, and this is very difficult, and this is, but we know a lot more about this case right at this moment than the jury does. And so we have to remember that the jury is only going to be basing their verdict on what they hear in the courtroom. And so I really don't think that the defense, I don't think they raised reasonable doubt with Kayla, not even, and all they got to have is just one juror. And I don't even think they did that. I think at best they got the jury to think that they proved that Kayla's definitely a liar, which she already admitted to, and that she was probably more complicit in everything than she's admitting. But I don't think they raised reasonable doubt in the fact that Adam is not the one who actually killed Harmony. I don't think they did that. I don't think they got there. We'll see.
Yeah, well, after if he takes the stand or something and describes, I think that because they didn't go far enough into the events that day and what actually took her life, and it's like they were close at times to getting there, you thought, but they never actually got there. It was like they were harping on all these little points and stuff.
It almost feels like what her real intention. It's weird. Her line of questioning was, to me, seemed less about proving that she could have done it, right? Or getting to that, or at least raising that question in the jury's mind, and more almost like undermining that proffer agreement. That's kind of what you know what I mean? That's really what her line of questioning, in my opinion,
Focused very much.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you needed this deal to work out type of like.
Well, yeah. But more to the point is to get her to admit things in her testimony that would take that proffer away from her. That almost seemed like the goal, rather than what their goal would have been or should have been, which is to prove that she had the means and the motive to kill Harmony, which is what they said in their opening. I don't know. It wasn't effective in my opinion.
Yeah. At times I was like, the defense was like babying her. It sounded like it wasn't hard questions.
Yeah, it wasn't hard enough. Mayla's mom, he would have to testify at this point. Okay, you guys, we've been on here for a bit, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. But, I know that we're going to keep having these conversations. Jenn and Amber, I would love for you to come on again with us sometime. And I know you're going to keep covering it as well, right? So
yeah, but I feel like I can decompress everything like on you over here, hanging out over here.
Well, good. But also I'm glad you're covering it, because I love the way your mind looks at these cases, and just listening to you and your thoughts. I wish you went live a little more often, but you don't, but
too,
maybe you will
live
soon.
more often.
I feel like it's something that's
Bendy.
going to come in time. Like once the little one's able to be more self-sufficient, I'm like, get out of here. No, no, she's just like, that's the main reason I don't go live more often, is like, some days I'm just exhausted. Like when you were talking about earlier about decompressing, or like, sometimes this material is hard to listen to. So listen to something more uplifting, like later, whatever, like the balance of it. Like all day I'm spending time like playing Barbies and like dolls and stuff. So like when I get to come on here and talk to you guys, like it helps balance everything out. Like,
yes, I know what you mean.
It's that like everything, it comes in phases. So I feel like my live streaming will increase like as everything else changes too.
It will. It definitely will. And you know what? Even though we want you live more, it's the times that you'll never get back. So I think that, it's understandable. We'll be here when she goes to school or whatever.
Just stick around. Like we'll be there more often in the future, I'm sure. but I enjoyed coming over here and adding it to like my streaming for the week, even if it's over here, because your guys' conversation is very interesting as well. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Bendy, you know, I love listening to your brain as well and your thoughts. And I think you also need to go live a little more often. That's just where I'm at with both of you guys. But that's selfish, I know.
I'm always
right.
in your mod. I'm always trying to be there, at least modding for you, because that's easier to do as I'm like playing in between like Barbie scenes and stuff.
I know you are. And thank you so much. Thank you. I so appreciate it. All right. And I appreciate you guys in the chat. You guys are awesome. You really are. Thank you for everything. Thank you to my mods. And check out the channels I'm going to drop now, because I'm going to drop a few channels, the Girls on Panel, and a few more. And then otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a good night. But the channels will keep dropping even after the live ends. So make sure that you're subscribed to them if you're not already. But all right, I love you guys and hope you have a great night. Bye.
Love you. Night.
Bye.